Well, hi everybody. This is Akasha, and I wanted to just pop on here and share a little bit about something that has just happened this morning. So, I do a lot of things for free. I have been just giving and giving and giving and giving, and I do this from this place of I can do this. And I love being able to help you with tangible tools, help the whole world with tangible tools, because these are tools that I have used throughout my own journey. And, something that I find is when you share your voice and you start putting yourself out there, people get really critical, or they start trolling your page, or they create friction. And, the thing that I really endeavor to remember when this happens, especially to me, is that you don't know what you don't know. And it's really important to approach life with an open mind, because you're only operating from your own inner narrative. And it fascinates me that we forget this sometimes. It's a lot of times when something is triggered inside of you and you feel like you have to go outside and be negative towards someone else, it's just really a reflection of where you are in your own existence. And today I was making some content to put out on Insight Timer. I also put things on my YouTube channel. I have tons of free stuff in the Seeker Sanctuary on my personal website. I do tons of free things here on YouTube. I host free events in person. There's a lot of service. Seva, that's that word for service. And it really is highly reflective of where people are on their journey when they feel like they got something for free and it wasn't good enough. And that's what I want to talk about, that good enough, because that's all programmed shit. Until you know yourself, you don't know what good enough is for you, because you haven't been exposed to all of the goodness out in the world, nor have you been able to discern what resonates with you. So if you are following the Self-Illumination podcast, Michael Burke and I just talked about sound and how things resonate or they're dissonant with you. And something that's really dissonant with me is people who are super negative externally, because it's reflective of how they're very non-harmonious within. And it's easier to go out and attack. Some people feel it's easier to go out and attack, and that's all based on 3D paradigm programming of the problem is outside of me. But the reality is, when we don't like something, it's reflective of something inside of ourself. If you don't like the way someone says something, it's triggering something inside of you, or activating, if you prefer that language. And I really wanted to come on here and say to you that there are these 3 gates that we are very aware of in the just spiritual community as a whole, but I don't think a lot of the spiritual community actually stays in an integrous state and is authentic with these 3 gates. And every time I have someone who says something negative or they're critical, I really process through these 3 spaces. And I want to share those with you, because it is so potent and so powerful and so important, because we don't want to keep creating more pollution with our own negativity. We don't want to keep creating more pollution with the shit that we haven't cleaned up inside of ourselves. So one of those is it kind? If you have ever read the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, if you've ever read any book truly devoted to the path of awakening, then you're going to realize that there's always a kind way to speak the truth. Is it truthful? That's the second gate, right? And if it's not truthful, meaning there is no doubt, because if there is doubt, there's doubt. But if it is 100% truthful, then speak those words in a kind way. And then the next thing that it's really important for you to remember as you go through, is it kind, is it truthful, is the third one. And the third one is potent. Is it necessary? Is it necessary? Or are the words you're speaking just going to be more pollution added to a world that's already polluted enough with unnecessary and cruel language? You know, there's a lot of really violent language coded in our entire world, and it's time for a couple of things, and one of those is a new language, and one of those is a new moral code. But you know, a lot of people don't talk about this because it makes them uncomfortable. And things that make you uncomfortable, it's great for you to meet that, to lean into that and go, okay, is that making me uncomfortable because it doesn't line up with my truth? Is that making me uncomfortable because it's challenging my belief system? Because remember, your beliefs are just stacked up programs that you've taken on as your personality. And until you dive into those beliefs and you go, yes, this is my belief, that is part of my moral compass, then you don't know if it's actually true for you. And you go out into the world and you judge and critique and separate. But when you really are coming from a place of the heart, when you are really aligned with Source, you start to recognize that every single person is you. And so those people who are saying that nasty stuff to me, being cruel, I know that that's not mine. But I know that we've all been brought up in a world where that's okay. And it's not okay. Because it's not truthful. It's not kind. And I know that shit isn't necessary. Because from my own life, I have learned that it is a lot easier to be kind and to be honest. And then to really evaluate, is what I'm saying adding value? That's what necessary means. It's needed. The world consciousness will ascend as you birth it forth in narrative. I mean, I want you to think about that, because for me, I'm just mind blown at some of the stuff that I'm seeing right now on social media and, you know, in print media. It's just all of this negativity in the world. It's trying to keep its hold, right? And we just don't need that. We can just let go of what's no longer serving us. And if it isn't kind, if it isn't truthful, and if it isn't necessary, does it really need to be uttered? Is it bringing value? Because if it isn't bringing value for the benefit of all beings everywhere, inclusive of self, it is unnecessary. And when we can start looking at what we are doing to facilitate that without judgment or critique, we just observe it, then we go, oh, okay, I don't have to do that anymore. I can choose to invest my energy and my awareness and my consciousness in other areas that are oriented toward kindness, truth, and necessity for the benefit of all everywhere. So those are my morning thoughts based on, you know, some of the language that I've received as reviews on all this awesome content that I believe I'm putting out in the world. And, you know, that's the beauty of this, is that I know why I'm here. I know what I'm on the planet to do. And that's to help raise the vibration of the entire conscious collective and beyond, through tangible tools that I know work through my own personal embodiment. And the most potent one, is it kind? Is it truthful? And is it necessary? And then if I could add a fourth one for you as just a little note to take into the rest of your day, discernment is the greatest gift of your spiritual path, and it makes you a freaking alchemist. Because you will have the ability to discern what you invest in and what you do not invest in. And all the while, keep sending love from the heart space. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to close this out with the same thing I said when I started. You don't know what you don't know. And most of us are operating from half of the story, fully invested in our own inner narrative. And when we can just free our mind and say, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what kind of day that person had or didn't have, or I don't know why they would be in such pain. But what I know is it's not mine. And I'm going to send them love. And if I respond to anything, I'm going to make sure that it goes through those 3 gates of truth. kindness, truthfulness needed for the world to be lifted up. All right. As always, I love chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, for being here on the live.